When I first began thinking about my Eagle Scout service project, I knew I wanted to do something meaningful. Pine Lake Methodist Camp has always been a special place for me, and I wanted to give back in a way that would last. What I didn't know then was just how much this project would shape me in return. Working with the camp director from Pine Lake Methodist Camp in rural Westfield, Wisconsin, we mutually agreed on building a slingshot range for younger campers, including a pavilion-like structure on a concrete base, benches for seating, and targets to shoot. From the start, I knew it would take an enormous amount of preparation. I spent over a year researching, drawing up plans, securing approvals, and organizing every detail. I created schedules for work weekends, lists of materials, and safety protocols. I had to anticipate challenges and be ready to adapt when things didn't go exactly as I expected. The planning itself taught me patience, persistence, and the importance of seeing the big picture. There were also practical realities to work through. Logistics were difficult because of the size and location where the worksite had no electricity, no running water, and was located a half-mile away from the nearest camp building. I had to line up tools, trailers, and deliveries for a site tucked back in the woods. Our work even spanned from March to December, and I needed to spread the effort so scouts could participate around school and family commitments. When it came to actually build, the real test began. Over the course of 10 weekends, I led groups of volunteers through long, challenging days. Unexpected problems came up, weather delays, materials that didn't fit exactly as planned, and each time I had to adjust quickly and keep everyone motivated. Leading wasn't just about giving directions, it was about encouraging others, listening, and working right alongside them. On my first work weekend for this project, we cut the posts and assembled big sections at my house. When carriage bolts didn't fit on some of the X braces, we switched to lag bolts, an early reminder to be flexible. Then on weekend 2, we continued assembly and built roof trusses, but discovered later that a miscommunication left the trusses a few inches too narrow. That mistake forced a design adjustment later on. Then, weekend 3. This was our first overnight, where we stayed in the camp's cabins and cleared trees and stumps. The big oak didn't fall in the direction we planned, but thankfully we had a safety plan and everything turned out well. My burn the stump idea pretty much failed. In the end, a stump grinding company removed it and donated the service. That was humbling and a gift. On workday 4, I created 10 4-foot benches using a phased station setup so scouts could specialize in flow, sort of like Henry Ford's design in making the Model T. We also framed standalone target posts and finished most trusses. Then, weekend 5, we confirmed the major issue that required us to adjust the dimension of the whole structure and prepared it for transport. We disassembled and labeled every section for reassembly at camp and built board targets to hang pans and utensils we were using for audible hits. Then it was weekend 6, our second overnight. This was the biggest puzzle. We moved 72 bags of quickcrete delivered and stored in the camp's 3-bay garage to the site. A rental mix-up cut our auger extension from 3 feet to 1 foot, so post holes ended up being shorter than I had planned. We mixed and poured and reinforced concrete and even used extra concrete to create a little names plaque so volunteers could etch their names. Then on weekend 7, our third overnight, we brought up trusses, plywood, benches, tools, and even some bikes for the scouts to complete a camping rare badge ride. After putting sections up, the camp director asked us to reduce the post height from 10 feet to 8 feet. We agreed and adjusted on site. Then, 4 tons of cleared pea gravel arrived, and we wheelbarrowed it under the pavilion. When truss spacing clashed with our center beams, the camp maintenance lead suggested removing the center beams and letting the trusses carry the load, so we reframed accordingly. On weekend 8, we built treated end trusses on site, set the ridge board, sheeted with plywood, and then ran out of daylight. We tarped the roof to protect the non-treated members. On weekend 9, we finished plywood, laid tar paper, and put on the metal roofing. As snow and darkness started to set in, we secured the minimum fasteners for safety and planned a quick return to finish the next week. Then, on that final weekend 10, my family and I came back to complete the final few roofing screws, clean up the site, and install a donated plaque on 12/23/24. In total, this project logged 2,437 hours. That includes 96 hours of my own planning, 296 hours of my on-site leadership, 1,154 hours from BSA Youth, 815 from registered adult volunteers, and 76 from other adults. Numbers don't tell the whole story, but they represent families, weekends, and a lot of patient teaching. I'm grateful. On funding, I produced a short promotional video that helped me raise $3,010 early into the project. Pine Lake committed to cover the rest so that we could keep the momentum. We spent a little over $5,300 and also received in-kind help, like stump grinding and trailer costs, which made a big difference. I used to think that a perfect plan was the goal for this project. Now I think a plan should be strong but flexible. We had to adjust the entire structure's dimensions due to miscommunication, lowered the structure height at the camp's request, and even changed our framing plan on the trusses for the roof. None of that felt like failure, but it felt like listening, learning, and putting the beneficiaries' needs first. Today, the pavilion gives Pine Lake an extra activity zone and shade in heat or bad weather. It adds a fun, safe option for younger campers and serves as a simple outdoor classroom or gathering spot when needed. That's exactly what I hope for. As for inspiration, I can't claim that this project has already inspired other Eagles. That wouldn't be accurate. What I can say is that the more we share what went right and what didn't, the more likely it is that other scouts will see a bigger possibility for their community. If this story helps even one person think, I could do that, maybe even more, then it's worth telling. Through this project, I learned that leadership looks like clear emails a week ahead of time, food plans that respect volunteers' timeability, and safety glasses that actually get worn. It's just the little details. It's also being the first one to pick up a shovel and the last one to leave the site clean. I learned to ask for advice from maintenance staff, from constructed-minded parents, and from my beneficiary, and to accept better ideas when they came. When I talk to other scouts thinking about getting Eagle, I suggest to them to pick up a real need, talk to your beneficiary until you both see the same picture, and break the work into real weekends your friends and fellow scouts can actually make. Expect mistakes. Measure again, adjust, and keep people safe. Ask for help, and say thank you. I tell them, you don't have to build something huge to make a real difference, but if you do take on something big, you'll find out that your community is bigger than you thought, and they'll show up. Finish your project, serve a nonprofit, leave a place better than you found it, and then tell the next scout how you did it so they can go even farther.